Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Radhika and this is the 8th episode in my series called Placement Diary. So in this video, I am not exactly going to tell you the process of a company, but I am in conversation with a person who has been in the industry for last 2 years now. So we will be getting some insights about how industry works and how what kind of work we do and how is it different from college. So let's get into the video. So hi Shinjay, thank you so much for doing this, taking out time for our juniors. I hope the session will be helpful. So let's just start with your introduction. So just tell me about your branch and everything.
Yeah, so I passed in 2020, the year which COVID hit us massively. And I was in CAC branch, CS1 section to be precise. And yeah, so I got my offer in BookMyShow. So yeah,
Okay, so did you have any other offers or was it just this company?
I didn't get other offers. Like I interned at Hieratis during summers and also got for that PPO program. But I didn't get the full time offer till then. But before that, I backed a job in Book My Show, so that was it.
Acha, okay. Can you brief us about the process, like very brief? I know it's been long, you don't remember everything, but just the rounds that happened and what kind of questions were asked.
So there was no rounds for testing your verbal abilities or fonts, those that we are made to practice. So first was the coding round. Then we had a bunch of interviews with the recruiters. So there was two technical interviews, and after that we had the personal HR interviews which we normally have. Yeah, that was it.
What was the difficulty level of questions, the coding questions especially?
So the coding questions were they were, I would say, medium to hard. So we had three questions in the coding round. So the coding round, two questions were like doable, and one there was you had to use dynamic programming. So I couldn't complete that part, but I could complete two of them. And third, I tried, but like I said, I couldn't complete.
Acha, okay. And what do you think you did? Like, how did you start your coding journey? Because as you said, you were also in HRC internship, right? So a lot of
Yeah.
students have that doubt that how do you manage time between this internship and preparing for other companies? So what's your take on that?
Yeah. So for coding, I would say I didn't prepare that much as much I could have possibly. So what helped me actually was like I was pretty good at coding. Like I needed some time to obviously practice it, but I once I got understood a problem, I could easily do it. So also I had some computer science experience from my plus two. Like I had computer science as a subject. So from then only I could able to do like simple problems which are need to do in the first year. So that wasn't a problem. Also DSA and all I was okay with. Only dynamic programming, the harder the questions become, I falter.
Okay, what would you say? Did you do competitive programming? Like, how did you stay in touch with coding? Because you said you had done in plus two, that's fine, but like to continue the practice, it becomes difficult because once people start college, they just get involved in other things. So, were you involved, or it was just third year when you started for placements?
Yeah. So computer programming, I tried my hands in it, but I couldn't do it. Like uh, you have to devote lots of time, and
That's right.
we had that 75% attendance rule. So I was kind of not that brave to like challenge that and stay in hostel and spend hours doing computer programming. So I did whatever was possible. Like I was fairly good in DSA. So also later on in third year, like most of the people turn to doing lead code or interview bit. But first of all, I started with HackerRank. I think that's very helpful as a beginner. Like they have very easy questions which you can start off with, and their discussion forums are also very good. So it's very beginner friendly, and you can continue making progress to harder problems. So after that, you can take up lead code, which is like a data house of like storage of every kind of questions that are being asked in the top MNCs, like the FANGs.
Hmm.
So I think these websites are very helpful.
Uh, okay. And what about projects? Were you involved in projects?
Yeah, projects that I was very curious like how things are done. So I spent quite a lot of time in doing random projects. So it wasn't very official. Like we have this minor project, major project.
Hmm.
I didn't devote my time like I'll have to do this something big. So I did small random things like making a small website with just HTML, CSS, or some JavaScript. And so, as in projects, I also made one automated bot type of thing, which would access the attendance and tell me how much I need to attend classes, so that I can keep my follow my 75% attendance rule.
But do you think working on those projects helped you in your interviews in any way?
Yeah, I would say they definitely did help. So, what I felt in the interview was they want to test your thinking ability and what you can do. So DS and all those are great. Like we have good implementations of that. But if, day to day life, only I think arrays are mostly used. Arrays and linked lists. Nothing
Yeah.
much is used. So also most of the questions you'll see those are based around linked list and arrays only. So if you try in Google, Amazon, those big companies, maybe they'll ask about graphs and all. But normally you don't use such difficult data structures in day to day life. So if you tell me to give an interview now, I'll definitely fail because I have lost touch completely. But I am starting to prepare again. Like we need to be up to date.
Yeah.
So
So, as you said, we don't use this in regular day-to-day life, and that I myself have realized after working in a company for around 6 months. So, what would you see in a candidate if you were to interview?
yeah. So like you said, projects I think are very important. Like what kind of things you do. Like projects help you like help people to gauge like how is this person thinking,
Hmm.
how is this person approaching a particular problem. So those things I need to be tested more, and also your communication. So those people who have difficulties in communicating, maybe they are shy, maybe they aren't confident in English, or we need to brush up our soft skills also to like case an interview.
Hmm.
So everything is not DSA. DSA is very important, and I think it's heavily biased towards DSA. But apart from that, there are also factors like you also need to have domain knowledge in CAN, OS. Those are also important. So uh, definitely, most companies rely on DSA, but you also need to have, like I said, on these subjects also you need to be proficient.
Yeah, so I guess what you're trying to say is like in interviews they might just ask you DSA questions, but when you go to the industry and actually start working, then all the other skills, like he said, communication skills and your domain skills comes into picture, and you have to work around them a lot. You want to add something?
Yeah, yeah. So in interviews also they ask CNN OS, and that too quite in depth. So I don't think like only DSA will help you in facing the interview.
So tell me, Shindra, what kind of projects do you think people can invest their time in?
Yes. So I think most of the people are running after ML and data science. So those are definitely good projects. Like if you can do such projects, but you have to think about it in a commercially viable way. Like most of the work in the industry is not ML. We are still using web development or whatever mobile development, Android with iOS. So those are very important skills, and you'll get better opportunities in these skills only.
So, like, can you suggest us some ways where we can find good project ideas?
Yeah, good project ideas. What I think, like, if I have to think about it myself, I have to think about what pain points are there in society which we can solve, or even it can be a own personal problem. Like for cat, we need to know certain meanings of certain words. Like we were given an activity to learn like 10 synonyms for a word. So I kind of made a thesaurus kind of ant, and also I showed it to the recruiter during my interview. So like, I think he liked it, but I didn't list it on even in my resume. So it doesn't have to be a very like well-made project. It can be just a MVP. MVP is a minimum viable product, as you may know. So that will also work.
Yeah. Next, moving on, like, how would you say? So, you are a person who had the privilege to work from office, unlike 2021 batch. So, how would you say, like, that is different in terms of productivity or in terms of like learning things? How is it different working from home and working from office?
Yeah. So as a fresher, I think it's kind of difficult to get onboarded in this remote kind of situation. But I think I get things more done in remote. Like when you're in office, you'll obviously chit chat with your colleagues, and that will not be that productive. But you also get to interact face to face and having like larger chunks of problems which are divided among people. You need to collaborate with them. So those kind of situations, I think at office only those are resolved faster. Otherwise, you have to write 10 emails to like one person to get one thing resolved. So that's kind of a horrid situation which you want to be in. So both has its pros and cons.
But
And
to be
on,
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, sorry. Yeah. So in office also you get to know colleagues of very various backgrounds. Like they almost become your friends, though they are your seniors. So we went to various places and had fun after office. So those things I'm kind of missing. Like it's very lonely now.
Yes, like for someone who has started from like remotely, I am dying to go to office and work from there, at least experience that kind of work culture. I mean, remotely it's not as great as it would have been for from office. That's what I like to believe. Let's see what happens. So, moving on to next question, like, what do you think the challenges that you face? Because, like, the college environment and the work environment, it's very, very different, two sides. So, what challenges did you face when you started your job?
First and foremost, like in college, you can always get your task. Like you can choose to not do them at all. Like if you don't do your assignments, you will get lesser grades. But that won't matter. Like if you won't do it. But in job, you have to do it anyhow. Like there's no escape from that. So you'll so that's the one thing that my senior told in my first day, and I think that's the most important thing. And apart from that, in college we had lots of time to devote in our other interests, watching movies and all. Those are very common. So in college you get more time to explore yourself, and in office you sort of have chosen that this will be my job and I'll fully focus on this in the weekdays, and weekends, whatever respite you get, you can do whatever you feel like.
What would you say are the perks of being in a company which is this big and then you're working as a software developer? What are the advantages that you feel you're getting?
Advantages are that you get to meet a lot of people. Like we also speak with our business side, business people. Like we also speak with our marketing people. So we get to speak with a lot of kinds of people and from various backgrounds. So that's kind of enriching, like in your like overall development. It's not always about making an app overnight and then pushing it to the millions of users. You have to know how to do that. Like the if you want to become an entrepreneur, you have to know those things. Like only making an app, how to know how if you know making just an app, that won't suffice in the real world.
Yes, right. Okay. I think that was great. So, any general tips, like the tips you want to give to our students who are currently in fourth year and trying for placements?
And fourth year, I don't think anyone is trying, at
I,
least from CSE branch.
I mean, there are a lot of people who are not placed yet. 2022 batch, I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So
For
they
them,
they are fourth years, we are out of college.
yeah, yeah. I'm kind of old, so I thought you were the fourth year. Yeah. So basically, you should have started by third year itself. So in fourth year, if you are just starting now, it will be a tough few months. Like you'll see your peers and friends like getting jobs, and you're still going interviews, and like I know it's kind of remote. You don't have to go to interviews. In our times, we had to go to interviews, spend hours having to attend their presentations, and then we finally got to the end of the interview at the end of the day. So it took like whole day. So
Now
yeah,
just people
so
sleep through the process, the PPTs and everything.
yeah, that's much better actually. So instead of sleeping there in your formals and all, you get to sleep as it is like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll say that you'll definitely get a job. Like it has a very competent training and placement. So definitely get a job. But if you want to go above average, like you have to get like I would say 8 plus LPA CTC, then you have to work hard and probably from third year itself you should have worked. But in fourth year, like you don't have a normal study schedule, so you can still put as much uh, your passion into it to get a good job. But definitely you'll get some job from CSE. That I can guarantee you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Shinjay, for that conversation. I hope it will be helpful for juniors. I'll be linking his LinkedIn profile in the description. If you have any doubts, you can contact him directly.
Feel free to like reach out to me. Like if I have any doubts, also tell your purpose, like what do you need specifically. Then I think it's much more easier for you also. Like I get an instant message like you are for this purpose, I'll instantly reply to you. Also you can connect me on Twitter also, not a problem.
So, thanks. Bye.
Thank you, thanks for making this.